The French and I, as you know, have had our differences. I said some things. The French have said a lot of things. But I think we can finally put our differences aside and be friends. Oh, bonjour, mon ami. I don't know that one. I don't know. Sorry.
It's plural.
It's what?
As in, it's plural for multiple friends.
Oh, I just know the mon ami, and I only learned that from SKA.
Wow. You didn't know my friend?
I don't know French. I know oui. I know
amigo.
Yeah, I know more. I've been exposed to more Spanish. Shockingly, I should have been exposed to more French.
More Spanish. You live in New Orleans, my dude.
I know. It's problematic. Cajun French and French are not the same thing. I need to make that abundantly clear.
They're pretty similar.
They are similar, but they're different.
In the grand scheme of things.
No one speaks it anymore except for deep in the bayou, too. We got to go to Eunice for that. Or Thibodeau. But it is what it is. Hi, everybody. Bonjour. I need to...
Bonjour, mes amis. Je m'appelle Emily. J'ai étudié français pour 5 ans, mais j'ai oublié tout.
Sure. I want to preface this by saying, one, this is probably going to be one of my favorite 2-part reviews that we ever do. I'm so excited for this one. 2, the French and I, as you know, have had our differences. I said some things. The French have said a lot of things. But I think we can finally put our differences aside and, be friends again after this.
The French and I have no differences. I love the French.
That explains so much why Emily drives me insane.
Je mange le pain.
I know that one, actually. That's bread. Le pain is bread, isn't it? Okay, see, I know. I'm learning a little bit.
French, because bread is French. Get it? Because the French only eat bread. And that's why they're so great, and that's why their country is so great.
I should have went and bought that baguette. Huh?
Have you had a real croissant?
I've had a crêpe. I buy Allison croissant multiple times a week.
Very good.
From the Vietnamese bakery, but it's still a croissant.
Voilà. Le Tour d'Eiffel. J'habite à le Tour d'Eiffel.
If you haven't been able to pick up on what we're reviewing today, and you didn't read the title because you're like me and you can't read, we're reviewing Sandfall Interactive's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Obviously,
Expedition 33.
This is gonna be the whole episode. This is gonna be the whole episode, and I'm not gonna understand a word of it. That one I know.
My French vocabulary is very limited for someone who studied French for 5 years and has been to the country several times. So mostly limited to food. And can I have that?
You know what Clair Obscur means? Yes, that I did learn.
Yeah, it means darkness.
Yes, I thought it meant clear obscure, but I guess I thought that's what it meant, and it is not. But. And then I also thought but first I thought it was somebody's name. Like Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
You know what? I get that. I can see how you would get there.
But it is not.
I wish I had your sunglasses.
I ordered these off Amazon for like $8. So
yours feel like French, but also like the sunglasses the 3 Blind Mice wear.
They were very cheap, and they feel very cheap, but they look sick as hell. And I will probably be wearing these regularly. So, how are you, Em? Other than chowing on bread?
I'm in hell. It's allergy season, everyone. So if I cough and sneeze and snot my way through this podcast, I'm really sorry. Je suis désolé. Because it's been terrible. I have my emergency tissue here at the ready in case I need it.
My tissue box because allergy season. I have bad allergies, but they more affect my sinuses, so I'm always dying as well. I'm actually okay right now, shockingly.
It's awful. I've resorted to using a neti pot which is something I've never wanted to have to resort to using a day
Have
in
you?
my life.
Did you use the trick I told you about?
Oh, I haven't gotten that bad again. I mean, I probably should have done something today because it was pretty bad, but
You should.
that just seems very time consuming. And
It's
so I
really
haven't committed
not.
it.
It lasts like. I mean, the boiling the water is the hardest part. It's the longest part. Other than
Well,
that,
I
it's
didn't
fine.
do the neti pot either, so because that also involved boiling water. So
Yeah, the neti pot sucks. I'll never do a neti pot ever, 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 ever again. Nope.
I didn't mind it actually. It like took me a minute to get the hang of it,
Mm-hmm.
but once I got the hang of it, it worked pretty well.
Side note, I didn't tell you about this, Em. I think you told me God of War is on your backlog, right?
Tia and our friend Karen massive fans of the series, and they actually made me start the like very very first God of War
I won't.
um, a few years back, and I didn't get very. I actually think I maybe got like halfway, and then it just kind of fell to the wayside. And now, if I start again, I'm gonna start with the 2018 one.
I streamed the original one for like an hour, and then I got to a scene where they were just showing boobies, no problem, like it was nothing.
Yeah,
And
that's not
so
war for you.
I
That's mythology.
quickly turned it off. Like I'm trying not to get banned on Twitch. Luckily, I was not big enough for that to happen, and that VOD is long gone and no longer exists, so I cannot get
I just
reported.
realized, as I was looking at podcast, you could either think I'm French from the bread, or I could look like a hungover woman.
It's
It's a
the
toss up. I think out of context, I look like a hungover woman who just came back from having like too many mimosas at brunch.
you're the
Um,
hungover woman who works at a fashion company and just want to take the edge off from all the stress.
yeah, but in context, I think you could think I looked French.
Anywho, yeah, God of War 2018. I think you like puzzles enough.
I do love puzzles. I love
Yes,
puzzles.
there's quite a bit of puzzles. I would say so. I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice.
The combat's
It's never been a game I thought I wouldn't like or was avoiding. It's more so just a game I never got around to play.
it was never like on my radar. It was never when I was like, I'm gonna play this. But I bought it for like $5 a while ago, and I added to the backlog. I'm like, I guess I probably should play 2018's Game of the Year. And so I did.
Do you know what my 2018 game of the year was?
Was it Red Dead Redemption 2 like everybody else's?
No.
What came out in 2018?
Woo!
Bless you. Spider-Man 2 came out in
Mass Effect
2018.
Andromeda.
Huh?
It's Mass Effect Andromeda.
Did Andromeda? No, Andromeda came out in 2017.
I didn't say what was the game of the year. I said what was my 2018 game of the year because that's the year I played it.
Well,
Spoiler alert. I didn't
Fine.
actually play it upon release.
Mass Effect Andromeda, I pre-ordered for a friend of mine at a game store that I knew I'd get it a week early at because I knew the people there. I got it the week early, and the boss found out, but he didn't find out. He called me the day of at like 5 o'clock. He's like, "Oh, you got to come pick up your copy." I'm like, "Oh, I already picked it up." He's like, "Are you sure? Do you know who you picked it up from?" I'm like, "No, I don't remember, but I have it." And he was like trying to push me, like, "Did you get it early?" I'm like, "No, I got it today," when I had gotten a week prior. For somebody else. It wasn't even for me. It was for a friend of mine. Like I just did it for her.
A blessed friend.
Huh?
That's a blessed friend.
She hated it. She really hated it. So.
Well, boring.
Cool. Cool. Let's talk some news, shall we? First and foremost.
4.
What?
They canceled it.
Kingdom Hearts 4?
Yeah, they canceled it.
By Kingdom Hearts
done.
4, she meant Missing Link has been canceled. That's the first thing I have pulled up. It's over.
Not what I meant.
No more Kingdom Hearts is there's no such thing as Kingdom Hearts anymore.
Done.
Square Enix pretty much came out and said, "Hey, Missing Link's no longer happening. We're trying to go for a quality over quantity approach, which they should have been doing in the first place, which explains a lot." So yes, Missing Link is gone. However, Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming, and they did share screenshots, which makes me think it is closer than we think because it had some of the commands on the side, the attack, your magic, all that in English, which usually localization is done last. So I think we could get it within, a year or so, potentially.
Conversation with one of my best friends about this, and we were like spitballing what we thought the date was going to be, and I think I said fall of next year.
Yeah, you said fall of next year, and then your friends said like 2028. I said
Yeah.
I said as soon as late this year to end of next year. And I gave my sound reasoning, and you called me out for giving sound reasoning instead of spitballing.
I didn't call you out. She did.
You agreed.
I was poking and prodding at her because she actually doesn't have access to a PS5 where she is currently, and so I was joking and I was saying, "What are you gonna do if Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out while you still don't have access to a PS5?"
She's gonna quit
And
her
which
job
she
and
insisted
move.
that it could not be possible for Kingdom Hearts 4 to come out that soon. And then I think you really nerfed her with having some logic reasoning as to why it's coming out within the next year or two. And I think she got a little spooked.
Oh no! I hope she doesn't. Actually, no. Quitting your job for Kingdom Hearts makes sense. That's a valid reason to quit your job, I would say.
Well, we also decided that when it comes out, we're going to go to Tokyo Disney.
Can I come?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm gonna try to go to Super Nintendo World next month. I'm gonna try, but it's probably not gonna
I'm so
happen.
excited for you.
We'll see. Though, then again, I don't want to give Nintendo any of my money because, God, they became the villain so quick. Like they became the villain in a snap of a fucking eye. But who knows?
Nintendo. They're on my list, man. They're on my list.
Next up, we had news that the Stellar Blade developers confirmed there is a sequel coming, and it might come sooner than we think. We do not know when that is, but it's like potentially.
Oh, it's Stellar Booty, or I'm not here for it.
Wait, what?
Call it Stellar Booty.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not here for it.
Yeah, it's Stellar Booty. It is what it is. It absolutely is what it is. We'll be talking actually more about jiggle physics later during the review. I promise. Trust me.
That's what we were doing.
You will see. There's a reason for it. It's very funny. But yeah.
Test the physics jiggle.
So, project. It looks like it's. What is this? I guess this is the Stellar Blade console. So that's Nikki was the original name, and then it was Stellar Blade, and now it's Project Witches. I don't know.
Witches. What is this? Assassin's Creed Hex?
I guess. Oh no! So sequel is here, and then it's Project Witches later. Oh, they have plans. Jeez. Okay. I guess we'll see. Is Bean come? Bean, are you French?
Yeah. He's pretty French. He talks. He's pretty rude.
Does he smoke cigarettes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yes. Yes. That's why his voice is so deep.
That makes a ton of sense, actually. For lunch, I had a black coffee and a cigarette. Oh. Hello, Bean.
He's part of the reason my allergies are so bad, but like, what's life without him? You know?
I'm shocked your body hasn't just gotten used to it yet.
You'd think, for sure.
I don't think very often, to be honest.
The weather, for the most part, like year round, I'm with them, and they're not that bad. But I think it's a combination of the weather and the pollen, and then also I think they're shedding their winter coats, which doesn't help.
Pollen also is like the worst it's been in like a very long time.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's miserable.
It's absolutely terrible. It makes me want to die a little every day. What other news we got other than Stellar Blade 2?
Yeah,
Stella.
Stella Booty. Moving on, this one is less exciting.
Stellar? Is it Stellar or Stella?
It's Stellar.
Then why does the subheading of this article say Stella?
Oh, it does. I didn't even notice. Polygon. What the hell, dude?
Polygon, you should hire an editor.
Yeah, this editor was Austin. Oh, the writer was Austin Manchester. Who was your editor on this? Who are you? Anywho, you'd have to move to New York for Polygon, I think.
I think I would too.
I mean, but he was part owner.
So true.
He doesn't have to.
The longer I go on wearing this outfit, the more I do feel like I'm just hungover.
Are you getting a headache?
I feel like I'm giving off that vibe and not the French vibe.
I think you're fine. You're fine.
I need like a beret.
That's what I'm wearing. That's how much you know I like a game, is if I'm willing to dress up for it. This is technically cosplay, even though it's not. Moving right along, last bit of news I have, and this one pisses me off more than it makes me happy. Atlas came out. Huh?
What is it? Share.
Oh yeah, Atlas came out and said Persona 6 who? Instead, they're releasing the Korean game Persona 5, the Phantom X globally. It was only throughout Asia, and now the mobile game is coming to PC and mobile in the States. I think it's in June. And I'm like, but why? June 26th. That is my niece's birthday. Like,
I think.
Oh, that's the day before. At this point, so Persona 6 will be 10 years old. Persona 5 will be 10 years old in 2027. Persona 5's announcement is already 12 years old because that happened in 2013. So, like, they either they're learning their lesson and not teasing it early before it's ready to go, or it's just really in development hell. It's probably just in development hell. Like, I don't know why, but
Square Enix and
Atlas
should start like a club about it.
I don't think they like each other very much. They are competitors.
They're both doing a terrible job of earning my money, so they must have something in common.
True. My own time game from the backlog is Persona 5 Tactica, and it's bad. It's real bad. Like, I'm gonna finish it, but I'm not happy about it. It's bad. Okay, that's all the news I have. Do you have any news?
I don't think so. My only news that I had was the Kingdom Hearts thing being canceled and the screenshots for Kingdom Hearts 4, but we covered that already.
I didn't show the screenshot. I want to pull up the screenshots.
Oh, you can pull up the screenshot. Mickey, I think, is now confirmed as a playable character.
Probably for knowing them, it's probably for just like a short section.
They also confirmed that. Well, I think I assumed this already, and I think you assumed it already, and I do think we had a very intense conversation with somebody about it. Maybe this will bring this back. That Sora's look in these images is strictly because he's in a photorealistic world. He's supposed to be
because he's in it's a place called Quadratum, which is confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think once he goes back to his real world, he won't look like this anymore.
That's what they said. So that's confirmed, but like that was not. A lot of people were just saying like, oh, it's just more hyper realistic graphics. Nobody. He's gonna go back to the goofy looking Sora we all know. He'll probably look more akin to like a Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora, maybe a little different, but
dude, his shoes are normal size. Look at these things; they're not obnoxious.
I don't know that. Unrecognizable.
He doesn't have enough belts. There's no zippers everywhere.
He looks ridiculous.
They also are bringing a character from Union Cross, who I forget her name every time, but I already watched the videos on it, so I understand. But like, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Who the hell is this?" So I hope you're ready for that. It's also been like, I think Tetsuya Nomura said like, this is it. Like, this is the last one.
Last one should have been the last one. Let's be real.
But they left it open ended.
Not killed off Sora in the end. It was the perfect ending. Like, everybody got what they wanted. I think if they had made 2 slight changes to the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, first, they shouldn't have killed off Sora.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I think Master Ericus should have looked at Terra at the end, and instead of just saying, like, take care of them, Terra, he should have said, take care of them, Master Terra. And I think that would have been it. I think we would have been done. Every character's storyline would have been wrapped up. All the characters were happy together. They were all in Destiny Isle. Everyone came back to life. All, like, the nobodies got bodies. Like, everything was wrapped up with a neat little bow on top.
But no. They had to push it.
It was necessary in any way, shape, or form. But I swear they saw a new Disney movie and they're like, oh, I have to make a world with that.
We're gonna get Inside Out. I'm calling it now ahead of time. We are getting an Inside Out world. There's no way we're not. I'm calling it. Unless they're like, fuck the Disney world, we're moving on from that. But I doubt it.
No. There's some that I feel like are really obvious that they've never done. Like, I'm still surprised they haven't done like a Lilo and Stitch world.
They have not, you're right.
On the beach, you have like aliens and stuff. Oh no, they did.
Oh yeah, they did. No, they did in Birth by Sleep.
Birth by Sleep, yeah. They did.
I almost said right. Hunchback of Notre Dame, but they did that in Dream Drop Distance.
Notre Dame, you're not French.
I'm so sorry, I'm not French. So sorry.
French episode. We're doing a French episode, and on the French episode, dressed as a French person, you called it Notre Dame.
Oh, oui.
That is Notre Dame. You stupid fuck.
What else haven't they
And that
done?
was me French for calling you out for how terrible your French
Oh,
was.
I know. I can't blame you. You're still a piece of shit, but I can't blame you in this case.
Unbelievable. She did not burn down and get rebuilt just for you to call her the Notre Dame.
I forgot that happened in my lifetime. God.
What do you mean?
I know. I completely forgot about it. And Ubisoft
It
is.
reopened in December. It just reopened in December.
And Ubisoft was like, well, here's Unity for free. It's like, thanks, Ubisoft, for the worst Assassin's Creed game that ever existed.
To be fair, it's because of that Assassin's Creed, like, they used that game to help, like, with the rebuilding.
Oh, I know. Well,
So,
no, that game came
no.
out. That game came out first.
Yeah, I'm saying don't go slamming on it because the game existed. They were able to get a lot of the details right. So we don't talk shit about Unity. It helped the Notre Dame.
The graphics were fine. The gameplay is shit. The story is shit, and I will stand by
I heard
that.
the parkour is incredible, though. I've heard it has the best parkour of the series.
I thought that was Syndicate. I've heard a lot about
No,
that from
I heard
Syndicate.
it was Unity that has the best parkour of the series. I think Syndicate used Unity's parkour system.
Oh, well. I don't know. I got like 3 hours. No, I got like 10 hours through it. And I'm like, this is not it. I'm done with this forever. I will never touch this again. I'll probably try it again now that I'm older and more mature. Kind of. Wink, wink. Bless you. Ubisoft is another French company.
I told you this was going to happen. I warned you all.
Um,
Yes, Ubisoft is French. And you know what? They're still making me nice stuff. I still like Ubisoft, even though they're kind of shitty now.
Oh, I do have one more piece of news. Oh, God, I forgot shitty companies. Oh, my God, Gearbox. Gearbox. The CEO of Gearbox. People calling him out being like, yo, why is Borderlands 4 $80?
Oh, I just see this, actually.
And he's like, one, he said, it's not my decision. Sure, it could be the publisher's decision, but chill. Two, he said, the real fans will pony up and grab it. And
He
like,
said they'll find a way to make it happen, something like that.
It's like,
Which,
dude, why are you so And he also brought up, like, when I bought this game back in the 1980s/90s, it was $80. Like, that's not, because no one knew the market then. The market was new. The gaming industry just came back. It like, no, we're in a modern era where you push way more units. But, and also it's going to go through microtransaction hell. So,
For sure.
And people are going to buy it, which is unfortunate. I barely liked Borderlands 3. I'm holding off on Borderlands 4 until it's on super sale for like $10. So, that's it.
Really good call.
Gearbox. I have a friend who worked on Borderlands 3. I don't know if she's still at Gearbox. But if she
Just like your uncle owns Nintendo?
Yeah, my Uncle Jim Tindo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's his name, is Jim Tindo. Okay.
This is like some who work at a company called Nintendo.
So, it's time for the meat and potatoes. It's the time for the part that I am so excited for. And that's to talk about... Hold on, I gotta spell his name right. I need to make this abundantly clear first. One, this is a review of Expedition 33. Expedition
33.
23. 23.
So, Trente?
33. Okay. And I need to make this abundantly clear too. Emily's only finished just Act 1. She's in Act 2.
So true, besties.
So there will be no spoilers in this episode, as much as it pains me. We will be saving the spoiler review for a later date. Emily, I'm giving you 2 weeks.
Okay. That's not very gracious of you, considering I think I gave you like a month for Shadow.
You gave me 2. I gave you 2 more weeks as well. And this game's much shorter than Shadows.
I'll beat it.
She has to beat it in 2 weeks. The episode is going to be in 2 weeks.
We will be covering some light spoilers in this review. We'll be probably covering the inciting incident of the game and like the concept of the game.
I mean, yeah, that part I don't consider a spoiler because everybody knows like that portion, like the whole thing. We won't.
A
We
lot
do.
of people- I'm just saying, I just want to put it out there that it is technically like a prologue spoiler. If you wanted to go into the game not knowing anything, you probably shouldn't be here to begin with. But if you are here and you're listening to the review, just know we're going to be covering like the prologue and the inciting incidents of the prologue, instead of like the generic outlines of the game. But we're not going to be talking about heavy spoilers.
Correct. And I need to make one thing abundantly clear as well. This character right here, this man, needs to be protected at all costs.
I don't see any. Oh, Eski.
He needs to be protected at all
Eski good.
costs.
I do love Eski.
Esquier, he's wonderful, and his nemesis Francois.
Francois, who has this rock.
And his rocks. We won't talk any major plot point spoilers. We will not talk about the end of Act 1 as much as Emily is in pain from it. We're mainly going to be talking about gameplay and some of the music, even though Emily hasn't heard all the music yet. She still hasn't heard the best track yet from the game. We're only going to talk about Act 1 characters and mechanics. So,
Yeah.
So, brief synopsis of the game. How it was marketed. Most likely you know this, but it is slight prologue spoilers. The whole purpose of this game is that every year, somebody called the Paintress, which is this giant lady who sits at a monolith, draws a number. Huh?
She's like a godlike figure.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
She's giant. She's a god.
Every year, she draws a number on the monolith, right? So she'll paint a number on the monolith, and whenever that happens, everyone who's that age and older goes through something called the gommage. And the gommage essentially is their death. They get evaporated from existence.
They get Thanos snapped. Let's be real.
They
get
do.
hardcore.
Straight up.
It's like they get Thanos. It's like they all just turn into the little dust particles that Thanos has them turn into, and they all float away into the air.
So within the first couple of years, nobody understood what was going on because the Paintress started at 100 and barely anybody got snapped. Like the initial ones, barely anything happened until they started realizing, okay, people are disappearing and dying every year from that age up. So they started this thing called the expeditions. And every year they will send out a group to go and try and stop the Paintress, starting from Expedition 0, and then I think the first one after that was like 87. So it's whatever next number is going to go on the monolith.
Because it is chronologically done. It's not like she just goes up and paints a random number. It starts at 100. It goes down from there.
Right.
So like the start of the game is the numbers at 34, and then in the prologue it goes from 34 to 33. So she's basically lowering the max age of humanity every single year.
Correct. So she wrote down 33, and we see a whole bunch of people get gommaged, and then you get really sad just at the prologue. The prologue alone.
Boy Gustav, our protagonist.
There's a couple protagonists that we meet at the beginning. Huh?
The best protagonist.
Our main protagonists are Gustav and a girl named Maëlle, who's essentially Gustav's adopted daughter, for lack of a better term, because Maëlle's parents got Thanos snapped out of existence by the Paintress.
She's his ward.
She was what?
His ward.
Yeah, essentially. You have other side characters that you meet along your way. You have Lune and Ciel, as well as you will eventually meet Esquier, blah, blah, blah. Not going to jump into spoiler territory. There's a lot of characters you meet within Act 1. There's more to meet in Act 2. Emily doesn't know. Well, she's seen clips, unfortunately, but she doesn't fully know them yet.
The next time I'm ahead of you in a video game, I hope you understand this is... I didn't do this to you in the Shadows review at all.
I'm struggling hard.
I did not shame you at every turn for not having beaten the game at the same time I beat the game.
You know what? Valid.
You're getting ready. You're getting fighting words, man.
I'm becoming French. It's working.
Speaking of French, this game does take place in a like futuristic dystopian version of France where the world has gone through something. What was it called? Like the tear?
Yeah, it was called the oh dang.
thought it was something like the Tear. They're vague about what it is at the beginning, but essentially you can imagine some kind of like apocalyptic scenario happened, and that's when the Paintress arrived. The city is half sunken. Everything's just really messed up, obviously. So that's where the French aspect comes in. All the characters are very French. There's a lot of French speaking within the game. And you play, obviously, this set of characters, like mentioned, the Expedition. The main character that you start off playing, Gustav, he's 32. So if you're keeping track, we're at 33 now. So this is, most of the people go on the Expedition the year before their death. It's kind of like either you live your last year and then accept you're going to die, or you try to do something meaningful with your last year on Earth and try to go and stop the Gomage from happening by killing the Paintress. So Gustav and most of the people on this party are 32 years old. They have the most to lose from failing, except for Maëlle, who is, I believe, 19?
16.
19?
16.
16? She's 16, but she's going because she doesn't have anyone really left, and she wants to stop it, and she's like, I want to continue to live on in this world. People are just dying in the future.
I think that's enough story talk. Because
everything
else goes into spoiler territory.
Yeah, the prologue of the game is setting up the Gomage. You do see the Gomage going from 34 to 33, and then the game starts with the Expedition sailing out. Expedition 33 eventually leaving and heading toward the Paintress. Obviously, shit goes not as planned, and we're not going to really tell you more than that, but it gets spicy.
It is a dark fantasy game. It's very dystopian. It's very existentialism. It's not light. I will straight up say that. It is not a... Huh?
I made a joke. Get it?
I didn't hear you.
It's not light except the title.
Damn it.
Get it?
Only half of it's light. Anywho.
I'll be here all day. Actually, no, I'll be here for the next 30 minutes.
And then she's bouncing and never talking to me again. I need to make something. This is not shaming her for the game. I need to make something abundantly clear. This woman will say Discord later. And I'll be like, yeah. I got to do a few things, but sure. And then I'll text her at like 8:30, 9:30 my time. And I will get no response. And my favorite one was the last one where she said...
Clear. He did not text me at 8:30. He texted me.
Oh, I've texted you different days at those times. I'm just giving examples.
This 9 p.m. my time. So 11 p.m. my time.
Okay.
Too late for Discord? ? And I was obviously asleep. So I woke up the next day and responded, narrator voice. It was, in fact, too late for Discord.
Emily was a big fat baby and fell asleep.
He was like, we can hang out in Discord after. I need to stop agreeing to hang out with you in Discord after your streams, because you don't end stream till 10:30. And then usually you're like, I need to go get a snack, or like, I need to say hi to my, which all is so valid. But I should know that by 11 o'clock, when you are probably ready to get on Discord, I am not ready to like hang out anymore.
And tonight is going to be no different, because I am making pulled pork this weekend and I have to go get the stuff to make it tomorrow for people on Saturday.
Anyway, back to the video game. It's like it described it very properly. Sorry, I have to sneeze again.
Bless you.
I didn't. Like described it very well. It's a dystopian fantasy. It does have a lot of dark. It's very dark. It's very sad. There's not a lot of joy to be. I mean, okay, SKA is where all the joy in this game is to be found.
Correct.
But the story is very powerful. It's very moving. I have, a couple personal beefs with the story, but that's just, it's not a bad, those parts I have beefs with are not bad. I just didn't personally enjoy them. But I still cried my eyes out in the first 30 minutes of the game, which is always incredibly impressive. I think Blake said he cried his eyes out in the first 30 minutes of the game.
I've cried multiple times during this game.
So anytime a story can capture you that heavily in the first 30 minutes, which I think is typically the weakest part of any story, because you have to get the either the reader or the player or whatever kind of story it is invested in the characters. During that time, this game was very good at that. The concept is incredibly original. I've never heard anything even remotely related to this kind of concept.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who doesn't really enjoy dystopian anymore because all the concepts feel very similar. This was very unique. It's very different. I would say if you really like story games, this one's going to be for you. Just going in knowing though that it's going to be a sad and heavy dark game. It is not going to be light and fun. But if you enjoy single player story heavy games, this one is for you. For sure.
I will also state this about the story. Like your trigger warning is once again existential. If you struggle with existentialism, and there is a trigger warning of suicidal thoughts at one point, yada yada yada. There is a lot of sad moments. There's a lot of things that may trigger you. So if you don't do well with sad, this is one probably to avoid.
I'll say now that we're kind of jumping into the mechanics territory. If turn-based combat is a deal breaker for you, this is not the game for you. And Blake and I were talking about this the other day, and he was saying, well, they should try it. Quite frankly, it's a pretty intense form of turn-based combat, and it's a pretty unforgiving turn-based combat. I really enjoy it, and we'll get more into it later. But I've seen about 50 memes on the internet relating to the same thing, which is how unforgiving the timing of a lot of the turn-based combat can be. And it is pretty relentless in the combat area. It's not like, I was also talking like this, it's not like a Persona game where only a part of the game is the combat and the rest is like doing slice of life and hanging out with your friends, and a very large portion of this game is combat. And I don't think that's bad. I'm just saying, if you are not a turn-based combat person, you're like, well, I can chuck through that for the great story, I would say just go watch the cutscenes instead. Which I don't think is the same experience, but I wouldn't tell you to pay $50, $60. I don't remember, something in that.
50,
which bonus
50.
Not 80 or 90 or even 70, it's 50, which is another big perk. But I would not tell you to spend $50. Wait for it to go on sale, borrow it from a friend, watch the cut. I would not tell you to pay $50 if you are not into turn-based combat, because this is a very intense and very strict version of turn-based combat.
I will make one exception to that rule, though. If you are into Souls-likes, if you are into Sekiro, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, etc., then this might be for you, because a lot of my friends who are not into turn-based, who are into those, enjoy it for that aspect, because we'll talk more about it when we talk fully about combat, but that is your, like, okay, if you're into those Souls-like type games, this is exactly what you want from a turn-based. It is designed for you, with you in mind. So let's start with this then before we jump in. The thing you need to know about this game is it is a love letter to a lot of the games, the original developer, who is an ex-Ubisoft employee who got bored and didn't want to wait for Ubisoft to approve his idea, so he quit to do this. Huh?
He's like, I hate it here, which
I don't
good
blame
for
him.
him.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I don't blame anybody who works for a mega game developer these days for leaving and making their own thing. And obviously he did a fantastic job at it. I wouldn't call this an indie game. I think it's what you call it, a AA, like instead of AAA or whatever.
I only call it indie because they didn't have a lot of funding, and it was only 33 people. I mean, I think AA is fair. I think it's definitely not AAA. I think AA is fair.
I think, yeah, we'll call it but like, I'm always a big believer that we need more of AA games. We have a lot of, but like, I think AA games are the weakest. We have the lowest amount of them right now, and I think we really need to push those, because coming out with AA games that require less spending, require fewer devs, require less time, and then also cost less money for people to get invested in is really, it's like the middle class, right, of video gaming. Like, we need to bring back the middle class because we cannot afford to keep sponsoring and waiting for 15-year games in development for 15 years that end up coming out and costing $90.
Square Enix.
I think these developers are getting a little too big for their britches. So I think we really needed this revival of the AA game, and I'm just very excited to see this development team taking it on. They did a fantastic job with this game, I think. And I hope they continue on. And I think this inspires more people. And I also hope it inspires those AAA devs to kind of, even with the Kingdom Hearts situation we were talking about, where they are canceling Missing Link, I think, even that could have been part. I don't want to credit it to, Expedition 33, but I think a part of that was even seeing the positive response to a AA title is, we don't want all these games. We just want good games.
We don't need mobile.
We don't need mobile. I'm sorry, we don't. Candy Crush exists. Go play it. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Back on track. Yeah, the developer made this game. It is a love letter to a bunch of his favorite games. He said this is a love letter to his first love, which was Final Fantasy, which it's very obvious. But there's so many influences here. There's Final Fantasy influence. There's Persona influence. There is Dark Souls and Souls-like influence. There's pretty much a little bit of everything in this game.
This could be in other games as well. It wasn't in Persona, as far as I remember. But for me personally, and again, I don't think this is specifically where he got it from, but it's where I think of the like timed, if you hit this timing properly, you can dodge or lessen your damage and or inflict more damage. Always makes me think of Paper Mario.
Yeah, it is also inspired by Paper Mario. That's how I like first explained it. The I will say the dodge and the parry is more similar to Dark Souls than Paper Mario, but Paper Mario did it in turn-based first.
No, Paper Mario's system, you're right, it doesn't have a dodge or parry. It's more so like if you hit A at the right time, you'll take one less damage than you would have. But like, for example, for people who haven't played this, Paper Mario has a system where right before you jump on an enemy, you press A and then you do more damage. And this is a very similar system where you can hit the right button at the right time, do quick time events, and you do more damage, and or when an enemy comes at you, you can try to dodge or parry. But the timing for those, if you're not good at turn-based games, can be rough.
So, yeah, we talked about influence, so we will talk about combat. I mean, we pretty much already covered it. It is turn-based. Each character functions differently, though, which I think is important to note.
Very differently. Not even like, their strength is magic or their strength is, sword. It's incredibly different gameplay styles.
For perfect example, Gustav has something called Overcharge. To which one of his attacks, once you have full overcharge, does massive damage. And Mael has different stances. So if she's in Virtuose stance, she does 200% more damage to an enemy. If she's in Defense stance, she does 50% of her normal damage to an enemy. And then...
But if she's in, like, attacks... So, like, basically... Kind of explain this a little more. So, Mael's thing is she has, like Blake said, she has different stances. And she gets bonuses and minuses to her stats based on what stance she's in. Mm-hmm. So if she's in attack stance, she'll do more damage, but she'll also take more damage. If she's in defense stance, she won't take as much damage. And then Virtuoso, which you can get to by going through the other stances, she does a shit ton of damage. So you have to pay attention to what stance she's currently in and then what stance you want her in and who can potentially hit her. Whereas like Gustav is more just you slowly build his hit points. Do you want to try to describe Lune and or CL, because I don't think I could describe CL to save my life.
So CL has something called foretells. They're a little card symbol by an enemy. Essentially, you hit an enemy with either one of her special abilities. Huh? Emily's losing it.
So stupid. You looked up and like your sunglasses, like your ring light hit the corner of your sunglasses, and it looked like you had googly eyes for just like, I don't know.
Oh, I'm doing it now.
All that, but like, yeah, you had them like in the bottom, and it just looks so goofy. I looked up at you.
Hi there. I'm your friend.
Sorry.
This is straight out of a horror movie.
I just like looked up at you in the camera, and that's what I saw. And they were like even like right at the bottom, but like in the corner, like they were the perfect location in that 1 second. And it really just. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Here comes the creep. Yeah, CL has something called for. I thought you were making fun of me for saying foretells for some reason.
No, you just make fun of your Google eyes.
So, she has these things called foretells. Specific skills she does applies foretells to enemies, or just hitting them normally or shooting them applies them. And then she has other skills that utilizes how many foretells are attached to an enemy to do more damage, just depending on the amount. So it's consumption. She also has a sun and a moon phase. If you hit both of them, back to back, then she goes into something called Twilight mode. And when she's in that for 2 turns, and she does a substantial amount more damage. It's hard to get used to her, but once you do, she's incredibly powerful.
I have not gotten used to her yet.
And then Lune, I think, is the most complicated out of all of them. Lune has these things called stains. So depending on what spell she uses or what her element is on her weapon, if she does a normal attack or if she shoots, it applies stains to her little weapon. And she has a move, like, there's a move, for example, called Mayhem that can consume those stains to do a specific attack. Or there's other moves, like if you have 4 fire stains, it will consume all your fire stains to do quadruple the damage or something like that. It's way more complicated because it doesn't really explain very well how to apply stains and remove stains and yada, yada, yada. So it is confusing. She's great, and I used her majority of my playthrough, but it is very, very difficult to understand.
I was trying to.
But yeah, they all play completely differently.
Lune and CL, I have a base set of skills that I use for every character. Like, you're gonna use this first, then you're gonna use this, followed by this.
Yes.
I don't get that for CL yet. Lune, I don't get how her stains work still, but I just know that I have specific skills I like her to use in specific orders, and it works out pretty well most of the time.
Yeah, Lune was mainly for burning the enemy and then healing for me.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what I use her for. I use immolation quite frequently. But yeah, the combat's really good. It's really interesting. It is constantly changing it up based on the characters that you have, like we said, in ways more than, oh, she's the defense character or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to really learn how to play as that specific character, which is really great if you want interesting combat. If you're someone who likes to just kind of sit back and, button mash. Again, turn-based combat probably isn't for you from the beginning, from the get-go, but you might still enjoy this. You'll get used to the characters. Bean, my dude.
While she's handling
That's
Bean,
so rude. Look at him. He just screams to leave. Bean.
The best part is not even their attack. It's more of the defending aspect in the parry system. So the parry system, of course, it's not just an attack is coming. You press this, you press this at the right time. It's the same pattern every time. It is a different pattern every time, and you're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna screw it up because each enemy's attack patterns are so wild, and you're going to think at one point, oh, this enemy's attacking, and they're not, and they wait another 2 seconds. They go to do the dishes before they attack, and you thought they were attacking.
There's a lot of for that, too. The dodging is more forgiving than the parrying, but I will say there's an audio cue for everything pretty much, and once you get used to a enemy's moveset, it's almost like a rhythm. Thinking about it, there's one enemy that goes if you're standing here, it comes at you, and then it comes back this way, and then it comes back this way again.
Oh,
and I got very much in the mindset of it would make a noise, dun dun move, dun dun move, dun dun move, and so you kind of get into a rhythm with it, and the audio cues and everything, which is incredibly satisfying when you pull it off and figure out when they're gonna move and you can dodge them properly, because then you can actually if you do it right and you get really good at the dodging, you can actually go through fights without taking any damage whatsoever.
And you get a bonus to your XP.
Yeah, which is especially good because there's a lot of overlevel enemies that you'll meet that are more powerful than you that you are going to have to slowly chip away at. And this is where I think Blake said the Sekiro and the Dark Souls, was it Dark Souls you said?
Yeah.
Kind of come in of you have to do the same thing, or you just have to be very committed to being able to kill high level things, which I'm not. So I would just leave and go do something else. But I know people who are I stayed there for 5 hours to kill that man.
Because here's the best part of this game. You can defeat any enemy at any level, with the exception of the super boss, I would say. As long as you learn the timings, you can brute force. Huh?
And you have the patience.
And you have to have patience. There's one enemy that on the overworld in Act 2 that you get super rewarded for because you are underleveled, but it is somewhat quick. And the timing is super easy, right? You're severely underleveled, but it's something you could do. Which I appreciate that. It's by being... It's the get good aspect of the game. Very much so the get good aspect.
I won't be getting good.
To be fair, I also played on storyteller difficulty, and even then I struggled a lot.
If you are not sure about the combat, or you are not here for the combat, you're here for the story, or you just want to have a good time and don't want to smash your controller, play it on storyteller mode. Even then, the combat can still be a little rough at times.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what it would be like if I wasn't on storyteller. So I would say definitely do that. But yeah, I think the combat is very interesting. I think it's very different. I think it does the turn-based system, but in a very unique and interesting way. Even if a tad unforgiving, like we kind of brought this up at the beginning. It's very unforgiving with the parrying and the dodging aspects, but very satisfying when you get it right. So yeah, I think the combat is excellent, and the story is excellent. The graphics are excellent. The music is incredible.
They got that the musician for that a guy off SoundCloud. They just found a guy on SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's like incredible. I think this game serves as a stark reminder that you don't need a ton of money and you don't need 20 years to make a really good game. You can just find people who are really passionate about what they're doing and really excited about what they're doing, and they can make something that's really great.
In 5 years.
In 5 years. And I think that should be a reminder to the gaming industry, and I think big game studios should take note. And I hope that this game, I mean, it's already made good money. I hope it continues to make good money. I hope it continues to win a lot of awards, and just to even signal to the rest of the gaming industry that this is what the gamers want. So I think all in all, it's doing a lot of really great things. There were a couple aspects of the game I'm not a huge fan of so far.
Same. I have two cons.
The biggest one for me personally, which I have seen a lot of other people complain about, and you guys might as well, there's no map.
Yes, that was number one.
Which is infuriating to me. As someone who likes to check every nook and cranny to make sure she gets every possible collectible and doesn't miss anything, that was very frustrating, especially because these worlds are very magical, mystical. They're not clear-cut worlds. There's a lot of like divots and
side paths.
Fall down a giant hole. And also they are a lot of colors. It's very overstimulating to look at sometimes. It's very overstimulating to go through. It's especially frustrating if you kill the enemies in an area and you spend a lot of time doing that, and then you have to backtrack because you missed something or you took a wrong turn and those enemies have respawned. That's particularly frustrating, and just the fact that there's no map at any point. I've seen a lot of people praise it, say like, oh, but you're supposed to be on an expedition. And I get that to a certain extent, but also they've already said the main character, Gustav, has been making a journal of everything he sees and does, so there's no reason to say he couldn't have been drawing a map.
Not even also just kind of... go ahead.
It's also just kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe it's not quite as immersive, but it makes my life a lot better. It makes me enjoy the game more. So maybe like, I mean, it's like saying, oh, but we're not going to show you how much HP your character has because you wouldn't see that in real life. Like, yeah, I get it, but like at the same time, that's critical info I need.
Right. I think they could have done it in a way where it was like there's a mini map, but it's all clouded, and as you go through it and see things, then it uncovers. There was ways they could have done it. So I wish there was a map of some sort, even an overworld map. There is an overworld map, but I wish it was on the screen because I would get so disoriented trying to be able to find where I was going, especially in the later acts.
There is an overworld map, but I should note you can't look at it anytime you want.
Yeah, and you can't put markers on it, and it's not on your the side of your screen. You have to open it up constantly.
You can't put markers on it. You can't interact with it whenever you want. There's only set areas you can interact with. Like if you're going between the main areas, you can look at the map. But if you're in a main area, you cannot look at the map. You can't really interact with it. And I will say, for someone who is very visually impaired, you cannot zoom in on it, really. There is a 0.2 zoom, and that's as good as it gets. It is a very, zoomed out view of
the zoom. I will say this, you'll like this, once you open more of the map up, the zoom gets better, and you can zoom very far in. It does improve.
I probably would like. Right now, I'm at a point where I can't. So I would say for me, the weakest point of this game so far is the exploration. There's not much I don't know, maybe this is like a mental thing because there is stuff to find, but they all look the same. Like everything that you can find or collect all look like they all look like these little white orbs essentially. And so it's not very exciting. A lot of times I do a lot of exploring and I spend a lot of time exploring and fighting enemies to continue exploring, and then I just get little orbs and it's not super thrilling. It's like finding a secret chest or something like that. And that's just like a mental game. Um there another complaint the side quest stuff, like I found side quests.
There's not really many.
There's not many, but also on top of there not being many, there's no way to track them. Like, I got to the oh, what are they called? The
Stonewall
village.
Cliff.
The
The Jestro Village.
Gestural Village. And there were 2 side quests I had to do, and one was very blatantly right in front of me. Actually, one of them I did accidentally, and then the other, he was like, "Oh yeah, I need this item to do this thing." And I was like, "Okay, I'll get the item for you." And he's like, "It's probably like in a cave with a lake somewhere." And I was like, "I'll find it." And I spent like 45 minutes trying to find that dang thing, and I never did. And I couldn't go up and ask him about it again, and there's no like menu to look at all your quests. There's no like, here's your list of side quests, here's what this character said to you last, this is what you're looking for. There's no reminder of that. There's no hint as to where it might be, and again, you can't look at a map because there is no map. And so I spent an hour about trying to figure that one out, and then I said, sorry, I guess I'm just not going to do that because I have no idea where this thing is.
I have 2 more complaints. One, and it's not the system itself. I think the system works very well. The Picto system works. I just think they did a bad job explaining it initially.
Oh man. Yeah.
Essentially, you find these things called Pictos, which are like buffs or nerfs, depending, that could buff other things. And if you use it with a character through 4 battles and win those 4 battles, then anybody can just learn it at any time, assuming you have enough points to learn it with other things. Huh?
I didn't know that.
See, yeah, they did a bad job. When I learned that, everything changed, and I was able to beef up my combat. So yeah, once you apply those Pictos, and you've won 4 battles, it'll say, this is learned, Lumina learned, and you go to your Luminas on the character screen, and you choose which ones they have. And you upgrade the amount of, what is it called, Lumina points each character has with the curator at camp.
I think that fantasy game should stop trying to make new names for things that already exist. I know it's not as immersive, and I know maybe they have their own little special, unique twist to it. I think you should still call it what it is.
There is a purpose why they're called that, and it will make more sense as you continue.
I'm sure there's a purpose. I mean, there's probably a story purpose, right? Like, I think there's a story purpose for a lot of times they do those things. I think sometimes it's a little unnecessarily confusing. If they had just called them like buffs or something like that, I think people would get them a lot. I think it's hard when you're starting a game and you're getting a lot of things thrown at you at once, and you're getting a lot of unique names thrown at you at once. I think sometimes it would be easier for people to digest a game. But like you said, people will get used to it. There's a reason for it. It will come around. But
one other praise thing, the immense amount of costumes you can just find, including a secret, very weak weapon that is just a baguette.
this is what I get. Right. I brought the bread. The bread's here because it's French. I don't actually just keep bread in my room for people who are like watching.
She definitely does.
So I mean, this bread isn't, but you get what I'm saying.
Huge praise on that, which also leads to the other part of praise. All the, like, once again, this goes back to influences. There's like a lot of side levels that they're not important to the story. You don't have to do them, but there's like there are subtle nods to things that happen in the gaming industry. I think I texted Emily about this. There is a little side area. You don't have to do it. You don't get anything cool from it but costumes, but it's an only up level. And that hit game from 2 years ago where you are just climbing straight up. And if you get to the top, you get a prize. Like, there's subtle nods in different, like, side levels where, you know, it's like, this is a nod to this game, for example. And it's just cool about all the extra stuff they just thrown in that they did not have to. But there's one crime that this game has that I am still trying to forgive them for, but I don't know if I can.
Oh boy. And it's not the end of Act 1? Because that's the one I'm not sure I'm going to forgive.
They made me be nice to the French, and I am trying to process it. Allison just said, oh. Whatever it is, the French, you are in my good graces, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'll figure it out
You say
one day.
whatever it is.
I mean, it's not the Eiffel Tower, I'll tell you that. I mean, that is the Eiffel Tower, but that's not the reason.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking, yeah, whatever that is. And I was like, please. It's him.
It is the France.
It is La France.
Oh, Allison came in and said menage a trois.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
I love it.
So, I will say this to at least in my side of things. France, you did the one thing I didn't expect you to do. You have finally created something to dethrone Kingdom Hearts as my favorite game of all time. Kingdom Hearts 1 is no longer my favorite game of all time.
Like, really where you are? Like, do you think, like, I don't want to doubt you. I feel like maybe you're caught up in the hype of it right now.
Am I
And,
finished
like,
this
that
game?
died down.
I finished this game a week and a half ago and I still think about it.
Like, a week and a half, that's, I mean, like, I'm with you. But, like, a week and a half is not that long. Like, a year from now, when you're in the middle of playing another fantastic game, or when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, and we're all talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 and throwing on Kingdom Hearts merch, and, you know, are you still going to be saying Expedition 33? I'm not doubting you.
I've never said this before about any game. Nothing has ever dethroned before. That's how serious I am about this. And you know why the story is so good? There's no cringe factor anywhere. There's no like, oh my goodness, I'm cringing. I just want to get through this at any point. And I loved it. So
I'm pressing X out on the story because I've been harmed already by the story.
It has begun. I also have.
We'll see if I can finish this in 2 weeks. I will say my final thoughts on Expedition 33.
You heard it here.
Despite my personal gripes against the story so far, the story still is phenomenal. I'm intrigued in the mystery. The combat's pretty phenomenal. I do think the expedition's pretty lacking, and I do think, again, I personally tire of turn-based after a while. It feels very repetitive. So overall, the like gameplay loop, at least for the first act, feels very repetitive. Because there's not much else to do other than combat. There's not really any exploration or side quests or anything. So it's a tad repetitive. The exploration's not, but the graphics are beautiful. The music's incredible. The story's really interesting, and the combat is very unique. So I think it's a great game. And I think. Go ahead.
Oh, and the super boss will make you cry in not sad ways.
I also think, again, I said this earlier, but I'm just going to state it as we wrap up. I think more than liking it for what it is as a game, because I do like it for what it is as a game. But I think more than that, I like it for what it can hopefully do for the gaming industry and this I feel like we're really at an interesting time with everything that the Switch is trying to do right now. Like we are like a week and a half away from the release of the Switch 2.
Boo.
We are talking about games being bumped up. They were $60 not that long ago. Now they're $70. They're being bumped up to $80, $90. We are looking at losing physical rights to games. We are looking at AAA titles taking 10 to 15 years to put out a game. We are looking at massive layoffs in the industry. I think we're at a very...
Delays like crazy.
I think we're just at this very odd spot in the industry, and I really like what Expedition... And I felt this way, too, about It Takes Two, and I feel this way about Split Fiction as well, about, like, these smaller games, these AA games coming out and not costing as much money, and still just getting stunning reviews and making the money back, because it's not about how much money you have or how much time it takes. It's about the quality of the game and not the quantity. And I just really hope that I really like what it can do for the industry, and I hope other game studios take note. They won't, because they can't learn.
Right.
But, you know.
I really hope Sandfall.
Nintendo.
I really hope Sandfall. Everyone thinks that this is now going to be a Claire Obscure like series, and there's going to be more things. And there's a lot of signs pointing to sequels or prequels and things like that. And I really hope it continues to go that way. I expect great things from Sandfall. Also, Sandfall released the game with one DLC, which is just cosmetic, and I absolutely was like, "This game is so good. It's cosmetic, and I'll take it. Whatever." I paid the $5, and I was like, "Yeah, worth it. I will give money to a small company who is doing the right thing."
For sure.
That's base DLC buying, baby.
We will be talking about the story in a
2
later
weeks.
episode.
2 weeks, Em.
Probably. Might be 3 weeks.
Fine. 3 weeks max.
Some of us have lives to live.
Didn't you brute
Oh, we
force
took
through
off
a
the
much
graphic.
longer
Okay.
game?
Hi. What?
Didn't you brute force through a much longer game called Assassin's Creed Shadows?
I did. Here's the thing. I was having more fun with that one. I'm gonna get through it. I can't describe to you again, listeners, I'm not gonna throw spoilers at you right now. I'm just gonna say, because Blake's been kind of talking at me about it this whole time.
Yep.
There's a twist at the end of Act 1 that I really, really, really did not like. I didn't like the way it was done. I didn't find it personally interesting. It caused a lot of frustration with the game for me, and so there's a really big block to continuing the game, but I'm gonna get through it, and I'm gonna beat it because this game is just too hyped and too talked about, and I'm not gonna get to Game of the Year talks at the end of 2025 and not be able to talk about the end of Expedition 33 when I say whether or not I think it should be Game of the Year.
It is worth it. The story is so good. She even said earlier, like the way that end of Act 1 happened wasn't even bad. It's just not for her.
So here's the thing, I guess is what I'll say at this point. I'm not making any judgments about whether it's bad or not because it wasn't for me personally. I can't say whether it's bad or not because I don't have the full story and the full context. I could get to the end of Act 3 and beat this game and tell all of you that I think it was the right move, that I think it was well done. Right now, it's not... I have some issues with the method of how it was done, but those can be resolved in time. It was just a huge freaking bummer for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get really I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm gonna be in threat of spoiling. I'll end up slipping. I spoiled the end of Act 1 for one of our friends the other night, and I felt horrible about it. So I'm just gonna cut myself off now before I accidentally do that for everyone here.
Well, if you want to watch more and hear us talk about the story, 2 to 3 weeks, give us time. Emily and I will probably be meeting relatively soon to go over what we're going to be talking about in future episodes. We were supposed to do that last weekend and we didn't. Other than that, you can catch me on my channel. I'm playing God of War 2018 for the first time. Twitch.tv/TheBeardedBlake Show. And
you cannot catch me playing Dreamlight Valley all the time. I mean, I am.
Just not on stream.
Dreamlight Valley. You just can't see it. But I'm doing it, so it's happening for sure.
Maybe someday. X to doubt.
It will happen.
X to doubt.
I played all of Silent Hill 2. I just need another big game that I'm really inspired to play on stream.
What else comes out this year? Ghost of Yote is probably the next.
Not a stream game. I need a horror game. I need the new Resident Evil. If the new Resident Evil came out.
Let's look at the releases real quick. 2025.
So I don't know about Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil 9 might come out this year, but if it doesn't come out this year, it won't come out probably for 2 more years because I think 2026 is the 30th anniversary of the series, and I believe that's when they're releasing the Resident Evil 1 remake. According to a rumor from years ago that I've never let go of.
Okay, let's see. We already went through March. I don't care about all that. I want to see June and on. That's April. May. Okay, so in May, Doom the Dark Ages came out. I don't care.
Maybe I'll stream Tales from the Shire, which is the Hobbit farm sim game.
Yeah.
That looks really cozy. And I really want to play that because it has decorating and stuff in it. And you guys know I love to decorate. So I might stream that one.
This one I hate. This right here is Bravely Default HD Remaster is the main reason I was like, yes, I need to Switch 2 so I don't have to play this on the 3DS. And Nintendo, you killed me because it is one of my favorite RPGs on the 3DS.
I actually do know probably the next game I will be streaming unless something else comes up before then. Blake, in his kindness, is coming to visit in July, and he will be bringing me a new flood of games, among which is Link's Awakening, a Zelda game I've never touched before. So I'll be playing and streaming that one.
You should stream BioShock 1.
Oh, I could stream that too. Blake's bringing that to me as well. So I'll probably stream some of those. Maybe I'll stream some indie horror games soon. Stuff. I just admittedly sometimes really don't want to get up and get ready and sit in front of a camera. For
Most
3
days,
hours.
most days she doesn't.
I can't believe. Oh, most days I don't feel like doing that. I thought you were saying most days I don't get up and get dressed, and I was like, it was so mean.
I'm a dick, but I'm not that big of a dick. Like,
I was saying I was like a slap every day, and I was like, that's so mean.
oh my God. On that note, remember, kids, if you find a gun, don't touch it. That's it. That's the advice. Call the cops.
Okay, that's not the advice. That's not the advice. The advice is go eat bread because it's good.
Sure.
Go play the game because it's good, or get a friend to play it with you. Watch it. I don't know. That's not the. I mean, don't touch guns, but also I don't know what's happening to Blake, but don't do that.
Oh, here's also advice. If you meet someone who is a Nazi or a transphobe, punch them in the groin. There you go.
Why are you giving like really, really serious life lessons right now?
Because it's life lessons and it's important.
If someone offers you bread, eat it.
No, whoa, not if it's a stranger.
The turn that this has taken in the last 30 seconds, I don't even know what to do with it.
Okay, bye everybody. Goodbye. 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 Okay, bye.